Long ago, beyond the red hills and thick forests of ancient West Africa, there stood a hidden village called Umudia. The village was surrounded by giant Iroko trees, dark rivers, and a forest so feared that even hunters avoided speaking its name at night. The people of Umudia believed in many ancient traditions. Some brought peace. Some brought fear. But there was one law more terrible than all others. Twins were forbidden. The elders believed twins were cursed children sent by evil spirits to destroy the village. Whenever twins were born, they were taken deep into the forbidden forest known as Ekwensu Grove, a place whispered to be the home of wandering spirits, shadow creatures, and angry gods. No one who entered the grove ever returned. And so, for generations, the villagers obeyed the law without question. Until the night everything changed. The cry in the rain. It was during the season of heavy rain. Thunder rolled across the sky like angry drums while lightning tore through the darkness. In a small mud hut at the edge of the village, a young woman named Adana screamed in pain as old midwives surrounded her. Outside, her husband, Obina, paced nervously in the rain. Then suddenly, a baby cried. The old women smiled. But before they could celebrate, another cry followed. The hut became silent. The women froze. One of the midwives slowly stepped backward, trembling. "Spirits preserve us," she whispered. Twins. Adana held her newborn babies tightly against her chest, two beautiful boys with shining dark eyes. But instead of joy, fear filled the room. One of the elders' wives hurried outside to inform the village council. Obina's heart sank immediately. He knew what would happen next. The judgment of the elders. Before sunrise, the village elders gathered beneath the sacred baobab tree. Their leader, Chief Ezioni, was an old man with white tribal marks across his face and eyes colder than stone. "The law of our ancestors cannot be broken," he declared. "The twin must be taken to Ekwensu Grove before sunset." Adana fell to her knees. "Please," she cried. "They are innocent children." But the villagers avoided looking at her. Some pitied her. Others feared her. Obina clenched his fist. Every part of him wanted to fight back, but no man dared challenge the council. Those who disobeyed ancient laws were believed to bring curses upon the entire village. The decision was final. At sunset, the twins would be abandoned in the forbidden forest. The Forbidden Grove. As evening came, 4 masked guards carried the babies wrapped in raffia cloth. Adana followed behind them barefoot, crying uncontrollably while Obina walked silently beside her. The deeper they traveled into the forest, the quieter the world became. No bird sang. No insects buzzed. Even the wind seemed afraid. Then they reached the entrance of Ekwensu Grove. The trees there looked unnatural, twisted like giant claws stretching into the sky. Thick fog covered the ground, and strange symbols were carved into the bark. One guard stopped suddenly. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. Far away, something laughed. Not human. Not animal. The guards hurried forward nervously. At the center of the grove stood an ancient stone altar covered in moss and dried blood from forgotten sacrifices. The babies began crying loudly. One of the guards quickly placed them beside the altar. "Let us leave before darkness fully comes," another said fearfully. But Adana broke free and rushed toward her children. "No. I will not leave them." 2 guards restrained her while she screamed and fought like a wounded lioness. Obina stood frozen. Then suddenly, a deep growl echoed through the forest. The ground trembled. The guards panicked. "Run." They released Adana and fled into the darkness. Obina grabbed his wife's hand. "We must go." But before they could move, shadows emerged between the trees. Tall figures. Human-like. Their eyes glowed pale white. Adana held her babies tightly, shaking with terror. One of the creatures stepped forward. But instead of attacking, it spoke. "You fear what you do not understand." Its voice sounded ancient, like many voices speaking together. Obina could barely breathe. What are you? The figure looked at the twins. Long ago, your people made a covenant of fear. They chose ignorance instead of truth. The creature pointed toward the babies. These children are not cursed. The forest suddenly began glowing softly around them. They are chosen. The secret of the forest. The spirits revealed a terrible truth. Centuries earlier, a greedy chief had lied to the villagers after his own twin brothers challenged his throne. To protect his power, he spread the false belief that twins brought disaster. Since then, innocent children had been sacrificed out of fear. The forest spirits, guardians of forgotten truth, had secretly protected every abandoned twin for generations. Deep inside the grove lived survivors. Men and women who had once been abandoned as babies. Adana gasped as people emerged from the shadows carrying torches. Twins. Dozens of them. Alive. One elderly woman stepped forward with tears in her eyes. I was abandoned here 50 years ago. Another man spoke bitterly. Our own people called us cursed. Obina felt shame crush his soul. All this time, the village had been murdering innocents because of lies. They returned. At dawn, Obina and Adana returned to Umudia. But they did not come alone. Behind them walked the hidden people of the forest. The villagers screamed in terror. The spirits are coming. But the twins walked calmly into the village square. Chief Ezioni stood frozen as the truth was revealed before everyone. The oldest forest survivor stepped forward. You taught generations to fear us, she said. But we survived while your lies poisoned this village. The people began murmuring angrily. For the first time in many generations, the villagers questioned the elders. Then suddenly, an old woman from the Sia crowd fell to her knees crying. My sister had twins many years ago, she whispered. I watched them take her babies away. Others began confessing their grief and guilt. The weight of generations of fear finally broke. Chief Ezioni attempted to speak, but nobody listened anymore. His power was gone. A new beginning. The law against twins was destroyed that same day. Drums filled the village through the night as families reunited with lost relatives from the forest. The grove that once symbolized fear became a sacred place of remembrance. And the twin boys. They grew into wise leaders who united both worlds, the village and the forgotten children of the forest. From that day forward, whenever twins were born in Umudia, the people celebrated with dancing, singing, and feasting. Because they had finally learned. Sometimes the real cause is not the child people fear, but the ignorance they refuse to question.